de Châteauguay-Lacal.
The Honourable Member for Châteauguay-Lacal. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Today is an important day for my constituents, and it's the first step in action, or an initiative rather, I undertook after my election to change the name of my riding on behalf of my constituents from Châteauguay-Lacal to Châteauguay Les Jardins-de-Napierville. The reason behind the initiative is that the name Châteauguay-Lacal is inaccurate, Madam Speaker. If you were to look at the map of my riding, and I'm not entitled to show it to you, but if you have an opportunity to do so, please look at it, you will see that the municipality of Lacal is located in the neighboring riding, the one held by my colleague, the Honourable Member for Saint-Jean. The municipality of Saint-Bernard-de-Lacal is located in my riding, and it's a municipality that has its own history, its own institutions, and its own raison d'être. Before winning the election, the residents of Saint-Bernard-de-Lacal shared their concerns with me, and I made a commitment to take the necessary steps to fix the situation. So it's in that spirit, Madam Speaker, that I have the honor to rise in this House today. And we didn't want the name Lacal to be used erroneously here, or to be confused with Saint-Bernard-de-Lacal. I want to point out that over the past 2 years, we've drawn it to the attention of many people that Châteauguay-Lacal leads to a great deal of confusion in the riding. It's the root of a lot of misunderstandings because the names Saint-Bernard-de-Lacal and Lacal are often confused by various stakeholders, national media, for example, mainly because the customs or the border crossing of Lacal is located on Highway 15, and this is the busiest border crossing between Quebec and the United States, and it's located in Saint-Bernard-de-Lacal and not Lacal.
Madam Speaker, you're probably aware that of the situation that's been taking place at the Lacal border crossing. I'm talking about the influx of asylum seekers from the United States, and this has perpetuated the use of this wrong name. However, good news. Most people have tried to correct their use of the name over the past few months. As I was saying, Madam Speaker, there are many citizens who told me how dissatisfied they were with respect to the Châteauguay-Lacal name for the reason that I just gave you. But it's also because it affects the pride of the residents of Saint-Bernard-de-Lacal. They're very proud of their municipality, and so this inaccurate name interferes with their feeling of belonging. After several discussions and consideration of this with my citizens, there was an agreement on a name that seemed like the most logical choice, and that is Châteauguay Les Jardins-de-Napierville. It's logical because Les Jardins-de-Napierville is the name of an MRC that covers 9 of our 15 municipalities. Second, the main city, Châteauguay, is at the northwest tip of the riding, whereas Les Jardins-de-Napierville MRC includes the 9 municipalities that are further south and east in the riding. Most residents of the 6 other municipalities really identify with the title Greater Châteauguay. So, Mr. Speaker, all those constituents under this name would be able to identify themselves, or identify with, rather, the name Châteauguay Les Jardins-de-Napierville. So Châteauguay would include all those living in and around Châteauguay, and Les Jardins-de-Napierville would include all the others. The MRC of Jardins-de-Napierville is absolutely beautiful, and that is symbolized by the word Les Jardins, and it's also an area that is known in Quebec for its vegetable production. Finally, the name Châteauguay Les Jardins-de-Napierville truly represents the semi-urban, semi-rural character of our riding. Mr. Speaker, I'd also like to talk about one individual in particular who contributed to the choice of the name Châteauguay Les Jardins-de-Napierville. This is the deceased mayor of Napierville, Jacques Delisle. If my memory serves me well, he is the first one who suggested this name. This dedicated man left a remarkable legacy in his municipality, and perhaps he'll also have the opportunity to leave his mark on the whole of the riding through this name. Madam Speaker, I would just like to recall that remind this House that I am sponsoring this bill on behalf of my constituents. There is a petition calling on the House of Commons to change the name of to Châteauguay Les Jardins-de-Napierville, and it's currently circulating in my region and has been circulating for a few weeks, and it has received several signatures from people all around my riding, including the names of the mayors of Saint-Bernard-de-la-Colle and neighboring municipalities. They are happy to support this process on behalf of their citizens, just like my honourable colleagues, the members for Saint-Jean de la Prairie and Salaberry-sur-Oise. Madam Speaker, I'd like to give you a little history lesson, and a little history lesson for all those listening to us, given that I have the time. As my bill shows, the riding of Châteauguay-la-Colle was created in 2013 following the electoral redrawing of boundaries that was implemented at the end of the 41st Parliament in 2015. The current riding was made up of the former ridings of Châteauguay-Saint-Constant and Beauharnois-Salaberry. Madam Speaker, it appears that a mistake was made at the boundaries commissions for Quebec ridings when the name of the new riding was chosen. The fact that La Colle was already located in the riding of Saint-Jean when the boundaries were redrawn was probably actually never noticed. We don't know what happened, but one can only imagine. After having done some research and after having had a discussion with the mayor of Saint-Bernard-de-la-Colle, I think I can explain why there's so much confusion between Saint-Bernard-de-la-Colle and La Colle. I'll just take a sip of water, Madam Speaker.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you. Saint-Bernard-de-la-Colle is a municipality that was founded in 1855 in honor of Bernard Claude Panet, the 12th Archbishop of Quebec. Now, in terms of La Colle, the name comes from the name of the former seigneurie that was on that territory. Today, there are about 1,500 inhabitants in Saint-Bernard-de-la-Colle. La Colle, however, was a municipality established in 1920, and it became an official municipality in 2001. It has now 2,800 inhabitants. Saint-Bernard-de-la-Colle, therefore, was founded well before La Colle. But over the past few decades, it has developed quite slowly. And actually, its neighbor has outstripped it in terms of population. And that's why the La Colle municipality is actually more well known.
For understanding of the history of our region, Madam Speaker, please allow me to outline how name changes come about and the criteria that any proposed name change, including that proposed by my bill C-377, must meet. First of all, given the practice of reviewing electoral district boundaries every 10 years following a new national census, Elections Canada provides the 10 provincial electoral boundaries commissions with guidelines on riding name conventions and best practices. While Elections Canada will enact any name changes legislated by Parliament, there are practical and technical issues that must be considered, such as the limited capacity of databases. Thus, riding names are limited to 50 characters or less in order to enable the easy display of the riding names on websites, maps, and paper reports, as well as easily readable geographical products. I will note for the record, Madam Speaker, that the name proposed by the bill before us, Châteauguay Les Jardins-de-Napierville, has 38 characters, including hyphens, dashes and spaces. Madam Speaker, my understanding is that any changes to federal electoral district names would require royal assent no later than January 2019 to be effected prior to the next federal election. According to the legislative timelines of our Parliament, I'm hopeful that Bill 377 will come into force in a timely manner. The name selected for riding should reflect the character of Canada and be clear and unambiguous. I believe that this criterion is met in my bill as the names refer to the municipality, to a major municipality in our area, and a regional municipal county region. Thirdly, a distinction is also to be made in the spelling of names between hyphens and dashes. Now listen carefully. Hyphens are used to link parts of geographical names, whereas dashes are used to unite two or more distinct geographical names. Madam Speaker, this convention is respected as a dash is used to separate Châteauguay and Les Jardins-de-Napierville, and the hyphens are kept in Les Jardins-de-Napierville. Elections Canada's guidelines also have positive characteristics that are all met in the proposed new name. For example, the sense of location and the logical order of multiple elements. On the electoral map, we see that Châteauguay and Les Jardins-de-Napierville are two geographical names that correspond almost entirely to the territory of the riding and conform to reading of the map from west to east, in other words, from left to right. The name of an electoral district must be unique, Madam Speaker, meaning the components of each federal electoral district name should be used only once, which is indeed the case for the elements Châteauguay and Les Jardins-de-Napierville. And finally, I should note the preserving of tradition is important, and it's quite acceptable to have same or similar names for both federal and provincial constituencies when their core areas embrace the same population centres. This is the case for the name of Châteauguay, which is the name of a provincial riding that includes Greater Châteauguay, consisting of Léry, Mercier, and Saint-Isidore, as well as the city of Châteauguay, representing more than half the population in our federal riding. The guidelines also contain negative characteristics that are all avoided in the name Châteauguay Les Jardins-de-Napierville. I will name, however, only those which do not correspond to the inverse expression of the positive characteristics already enumerated and which are therefore already understood implicitly. I can repeat that again if that's, if that's necessary, but I'll give you some examples, Madam Speaker. For example, the name of a federal electoral district should be clear in both English and French, and as much as possible be acceptable without translation into the other official language, thus avoiding multiple forms, possible inconsistencies, and confusions. Another characteristic to be avoided is the use of cardinal points such as east or west. This would only encourage clumsy translation between official languages. The incorrect use of hyphens and dashes, Madam Speaker, is to avoid it at all cost. Bill C-377 correctly uses a dash to designate the city of Châteauguay within the name, while the individual words of the region, Les Jardins-de-Napierville, are correctly separated by hyphens. And lastly, let us say for the record that the use of actual names of provinces, personal names, and names that are imprecise or contrived from non-geographical sources are also to be avoided. I believe, Madam Speaker, that I have raised all the arguments that should satisfy my honourable colleagues here in the House that the name proposed by Bill C-377, Châteauguay Les Jardins-de-Napierville, thusly respects all the pertinent guidelines of Elections Canada. Permettez-moi.
Madam Speaker, now allow me to use some of my speaking time to paint a picture for you of my magnificent riding, which includes a splendid environment, rich soil, a dynamic economy, and by lovely people. My riding is located in the province of Quebec on the south shore of Montreal in the area of Montérégie West. It is made up of 15 municipalities, including Saint-Bernard-de-la-Colle. I also represent a semi-urban, semi-rural riding, and the city of Châteauguay has 48,000 inhabitants, including 15,000 Anglophones and Allophones. It also has a very important industrial sector. On the other hand, the main part of the area in my riding is rural, The main industries there are, of course, agriculture and agri-food production.